first thing you're going to do is open up ChatGPT. If you're on the Plus plan, make sure you have the 4.0 model selected. If you don't, the free plan will also work for this. And then come down to these three dots and select Create Image. And to get started on making product images for something we found on AliExpress, I'm going to be working with this image right here. All you need to do is drag this photo into ChatGPT and say make an infographic for this egg organizer or whatever it is. You could say this product. ChatGPT will know what you're talking about. And this is what ChatGPT came up with. This is a really good start. The big update OpenAI gave ChatGPT is it's actually now pretty good at putting text in images. But it did make one small mistake right here. It's supposed to say holds up to 14 eggs. It had a little typo here, but we can easily fix that. Go over to the top right and click on this select tool, the edit selection tool. Just brush over that area and then just tell ChatGPT change the text to holds up to 14 eggs. It makes sure to put that in quotation marks. This is a small way you can have ChatGPT type exactly the words you want, is you can just put it in quotation marks. And here's the image that it made. It did fix the typo. However, it still doesn't have a space in between. It's just kind of the nature of working with ChatGPT is you have to go back and forth a couple of times, but eventually it will get it correct. Now, one thing I don't like about this photo is it looks a little too fake. Like these eggs are kind of photoshopped in here. You can kind of tell if you look for it. But what we can do is fix that with ChatGPT. So to do this, I uploaded the photo again to ChatGPT and I said, make a realistic looking professional product photo in this product's natural environment. And I made sure to put this word realistic in there just to make sure ChatGPT will make it look as real as possible. And then I asked for a professional product photo, and this is what it first gave me. I personally didn't like how the eggs were not egg shaped enough. They're a little too round, which is an easy fix. If you ever want to edit a photo, always make sure you click into the photo. You can either select a certain part of the image, or what I did is just typed what I wanted changed down here. If you don't do it that way and you just type in here hoping ChatGPT will know which image you're talking about in the entire chat thread, I've found it hasn't worked that well and will mistakenly combine a couple images together. I think it is a little bug right now that OpenAI does need to fix. But if you do, make sure to click in and describe what you want to change. I asked ChatGPT and said the eggs are too round, make them more egg-shaped, and it did exactly that. So now these are more egg-shaped and not so round. And I did the same thing again. I went down here and said the eggs should be sitting on their side, not sitting straight up while in the organizer. Even caught my typo there. And here's the final image, which I think turned out pretty good. And then you also don't have that logo there if you're using another image for inspiration. So this would be a perfectly good image you could use on Amazon or Shopify for this product. And another really good thing ChatGPT is good at is making color variants of a product. Say you're selling different colors of product. All you have to do is ask ChatGPT to make an Amazon style product image showing 4 color variants and then list out the colors. So in this case, we're gonna ask for white, black, blue, and green. After asking that, this is the image it made. I think it turned out really good. I like how it showed the 4 different colors in one photo here. I personally don't like this color of green, but you could easily change that if you wanted. I would say, you could probably give ChatGPT a color code if you really wanted, or if you want it to be the same color as something, you just need to provide that image to ChatGPT and it would match the color and put it onto the product. The next photo any good Amazon listing or Shopify listing will have is a model using the photo or wearing the clothing that you're selling. And ChatGPT is really good at that. Here I asked it to make an Amazon style photo of this product being used by a model. And here it gave me this image, which is actually pretty good. I think a small change I will make is to where a person is using it. Here I asked ChatGPT to do just that, to make a product photo of a model picking up an egg out of the front of the organizer while the organizer is sitting on the top shelf in the fridge. ChatGPT didn't get this quite right, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. We have a person in action using the product. They are picking an egg out of the product, but you will also notice that there is a couple small things wrong about it. The organizer is not rotated in a good direction. This wouldn't be sitting like this in the fridge, and any person wouldn't be picking like the third egg in. Defeats the point of the product. So you'll have to go back and forth with ChatGPT to fix that, but any image you create, there will likely be some back and forth with ChatGPT. If you make sure to click into the image and edit the image from here, or using the selection tool, you'll be able to fix that image. Another thing ChatGPT can do is actually create a logo for you and put that new logo on your product in an image. So here I decided to start a little fidget spinner company, and I asked ChatGPT to give me a list of names I could use. Here I just picked a random one, and the one I decided to go with was called Spin Lab. And then here I asked ChatGPT to make a circular logo for Spin Lab and put it on the center of the green fidget spinner. So if you click into the image, it did that pretty well here. It has the word Spin Lab and this little circle around it. Before, LLMs and other tools like ChatGPT weren't very good at writing words, but now ChatGPT is actually pretty good at it now. Before, I said make a logo for Spin Lab and make an image where the logo is put on the green color variant. Here I didn't really follow the directions that well. In the second prompt, I had to be a little more precise and say put it on the center of the green fidget spinner. And then after saying that, it did it. It followed directions well. And then if you're selling any kind of merch for your Shopify store, you can also put that logo on, well, just about anything, but in this case, you can put it on merch. I asked ChatGPT to put the Spin Lab logo on a hoodie with a male model wearing this hoodie. I want to sell this as merch on my website. And this is the first iteration it came up with. However, I didn't like the logo being this big and the background of it being green. So I then asked ChatGPT to make the hoodie black and put the logo smaller in the top right of his torso, and change the background of the logo to match the color of the hoodie. And it followed all that really well. So here's the hoodie in black, logo is much smaller in the top right, and the logo itself has a transparent background. And you can even get a quick mock-up of what you want your packaging to look like for your product. So here I did a quick little ask ChatGPT to put this art on a box and then leave the cardboard box a regular cardboard color. And this is what it kind of came up with. I'm sure you can get a lot more creative with that. So you could probably upload like a little artsy image and tell ChatGPT to put it on this box. Or you could make an entirely image within ChatGPT. And if you're selling an ebook, ChatGPT will be able to help you with that. I asked ChatGPT to write a 5-paragraph essay on The Great Gatsby, just so I have some text, just like how you'd have text if you had an ebook. When actually doing this, I would give ChatGPT the text that's in your ebook, and then you can just tell it generate an image of a book cover for this essay or the given text. And then it'll kind of just come up with its own art. And this is the image it came up with. Now you'll notice on the top and bottom the words are kind of cut off. This is currently a known bug with the new version of ChatGPT. So over at OpenAI's website, they'll say, we've noticed that GPT 4.0 can occasionally crop longer images like posters too tightly, especially near the bottom. And that's what we see happening right here. However, there is a pretty easy fix for this. So what I did then was say the title and author is cropped out of the image. Please fix it. And then also make the cover art more colorful with bright colors. And that scene, just simply telling ChatGPT to fix it, it actually did fix it. And this is the final image for the cover art, and I think it turned out pretty cool.